Why do we often judge people at first glance? We see someone who looks ordinary or appears to be struggling and immediately make assumptions about their abilities. We think we know their story, we think we know their talent, and we sometimes dismiss them without giving them a chance. But what if I told you that the most unexpected people can completely change your perspective with just one performance? This is a story about three young, poor contestants from the Philippines who stepped onto the stage of Ireland's Got Talent and proved that judging too quickly can lead to being completely wrong. The first story begins in Cebu City. A young boy from a small neighborhood, wearing torn clothes and old shoes, walked onto the stage with nothing but a microphone in his hand. His face was nervous, and his body shook slightly as he looked out at the bright lights and the enormous audience. At first glance, the judges and even some audience members thought he was just another ordinary contestant with little to offer. But as soon as he opened his mouth and started to sing, the room went silent. His voice was powerful, emotional, and beyond his years. Simon Cowell, known for his strict and sometimes harsh critiques, leaned forward with his eyes wide in disbelief. A female judge covered her mouth, unable to hide the surprise on her face. Another male judge wiped away tears as the boy continued to pour his heart into every note. It was clear that the talent in front of them could not be measured by appearance alone. This young boy from Cebu City reminded everyone that greatness often hides in the most unexpected places. Next was a girl from Davao City. She was barefoot, her clothes worn and patched, and she carried a small handmade instrument. The judges barely knew what to expect as she took her place on the stage. She looked small and fragile, but there was a quiet determination in her eyes. As she began to play, the sound filled the room with a beauty that no one anticipated. The judges' reactions were immediate. One judge leaned back in shock, eyes wide, while another held her hands to her chest, tears streaming down her face. Simon Cowell, who has seen thousands of contestants, simply stared in amazement. This girl from Davao City, who many might have underestimated because of her humble appearance, captured the hearts of everyone in the room. The lesson was clear: talent cannot be judged by outward appearances. It is often hidden beneath layers of hardship and struggle. The third story takes us to Iloilo City. A young boy, no more than 12 years old, stepped onto the stage wearing a ragged shirt and patched pants. His small hands gripped the microphone tightly, and his eyes reflected a mix of fear and determination. As he began to sing, it became immediately clear that this was not an ordinary performance. His voice was incredibly strong, full of emotion, and completely unexpected from someone so young and clearly struggling in life. The judges were visibly moved. The female judge leaned forward, wiping away tears. Simon Cowell's eyes glistened, and he motioned for the boy to continue, unable to speak. The male judge clenched his fists, showing a mixture of disbelief and admiration. The audience erupted in applause, but it was the judge's emotional response that told the full story. This boy from Iloilo City had taken something as simple as a dream and transformed it into a breathtaking reality. These stories from Cebu City, Davao City, and Iloilo City all share a common theme. They remind us that our assumptions are often wrong. We judge people based on what we see and often overlook the immense talent and potential that may be hidden within them. The Ireland's Got Talent stage became a platform not just for performance, but for life. Lessons about empathy, humility, and the importance of seeing beyond appearances. These young contestants, all coming from poverty, had the courage to step in front of millions and show the world that talent knows no boundaries. The reactions of the judges were not just about entertainment. They were genuine, emotional, and human. Seeing people who have struggled so much achieve something extraordinary reminds us that life is full of surprises. It also reminds us that judging someone at first glance is unfair and can prevent us from recognizing true talent and value. The tears, the astonishment, and the applause were all testaments to the impact of these performances. They showed that talent and determination can shine through any obstacle, and that the world often underestimates those who come from humble beginnings. In addition to talent, these stories also highlight the resilience of the human spirit. The boy from Cebu City, the girl from Davao City, and the boy from Iloilo City all faced difficult circumstances, yet they found the courage to pursue their dreams. They were not defined by their poverty or their appearance. They were defined by their passion, their determination, and their willingness to take risks. Ireland's Got Talent became more than just a stage. It became a place where barriers were broken, where expectations were exceeded, and where the judges and audience alike learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of judging too quickly. For viewers watching at home, these performances were more than just entertainment. They were inspiration. They reminded people to look deeper, to consider the untold stories behind every face, and to recognize that everyone has value, talent, and potential. These contestants did not need fancy clothes, perfect appearances, or wealth to make an impact. They simply needed courage, dedication, and the willingness to take the stage and be seen. And in doing so, they changed the hearts of everyone who watched. The story of judging at first glance is one that applies not just to talent shows but to everyday life. We often make snap judgments about people we meet in school, in the workplace, or even on the street. We assume we know their abilities, their intentions, and their worth based on what we see. But the performances of these young contestants remind us that true potential is often hidden, and the most extraordinary abilities can be found in the most unlikely places. Cebu City, Davao City, and Iloilo City became symbols of hope, resilience, and unexpected greatness. By watching these young performers, the judges themselves were reminded of something important. They were reminded that the world is full of surprises, that human potential is limitless, and that we must be careful not to underestimate anyone. The emotions shown on stage, the tears, the astonishment, the admiration, were genuine because the judges recognized that they had been proven wrong. Their initial judgments had been overturned by the undeniable talent and heart of these performers. It was a powerful lesson in humility and understanding, one that left a lasting impression on everyone in the audience. These stories also serve as a reminder for us in our daily lives. When we encounter someone who appears ordinary or struggles, we should resist the urge to judge. Instead, we should look deeper, give them a chance, and consider the potential that lies within them. Just as the judges on Ireland's Got Talent were surprised and moved, we too can be inspired by the hidden talents and abilities of those around us. Every person has a story, every person has a dream, and every person has something valuable to offer if we take the time to see it. The young boy from Cebu City, the girl from Davao City, and the boy from Iloilo City all achieved something remarkable. They showed the world that talent and determination are not limited by circumstances. They reminded us that poverty does not define a person's abilities, and that appearances can be deceiving. Their performances were unforgettable not just because of the skill they displayed, but because of the emotional journey they took everyone on. The judges' reactions of tears, astonishment, and joy reflected the profound impact these young performers had on the stage and in the hearts of the audience. In the end, the lesson is clear. We should never judge someone at first glance. We should take the time to understand their story, recognize their potential, and allow them the opportunity to shine. Ireland's Got Talent provided a platform for these young Filipino performers to do exactly that. It showed the world that greatness can emerge from the most unexpected places and that the human spirit is capable of extraordinary things. By opening our minds and hearts, we allow ourselves to witness moments of true brilliance, moments that remind us of the beauty and unpredictability of life. These young contestants taught us more than just the power of talent. They taught us about courage, resilience, and the importance of looking beyond appearances. They reminded everyone watching that no one should be underestimated and that even the humblest person can achieve greatness if given the chance. Their stories from Cebu City, Davao City, and Iloilo City will remain in the hearts of viewers, inspiring others to pursue their dreams, break barriers, and never allow judgment to limit their potential. So next time you meet someone and find yourself forming an opinion based on what you see, remember the performances of these young contestants. Remember the boy from Cebu City whose voice moved judges to tears, the girl from Davao City whose music touched everyone in the room, and the boy from Iloilo City whose courage and talent stunned the world. Remember that first impressions can be misleading and that the greatest surprises often come from those we least expect. Judging at first glance may be easy, but being proven wrong in the most beautiful way is a lesson we should all embrace. Talent, courage, and determination do not require wealth, appearances, or privilege. They require heart, passion, and the willingness to take a chance. These young performers reminded the world of this truth. They inspired millions to believe in the power of potential and to recognize that greatness can emerge from the most unlikely places. Ireland's Got Talent became a stage for more than just performances. It became a reminder that we should never judge anyone by their looks, their circumstances, or their background. The true measure of a person is found in their abilities, their heart, and the impact they make when given the opportunity to shine. The next time someone surprises you with their talent or ability, remember the lessons from Cebu City, Davao City, and Iloilo City. Remember the tears, the astonishment, and the joy on the judges' faces. Remember that judging at first glance can blind us to the extraordinary and that the world is full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered. These stories teach us to keep an open mind, to nurture talent wherever we find it, and to celebrate the courage of those who dare to dream despite the odds. Because when we do, we might just witness something truly magical, something that changes not only the way we see others but also the way we see ourselves.